How does an alpha female submit to an alpha male and have an interdependent relationship while still maintaining her individuality?
Okay. The first thing you want to consider in this regard is marriage is not me and you. Marriage is us. What it means is that I have given up on me, you have given up on you, and we are investing in us. So emphasis is on us and not on me and not on you. So your individuality, my individuality is towards us. The best way to describe it is to look at it as a system thinking. It's a concept that the business people do, looking at system thinking is how the entire system fits together and work. Let me give you a practical example of the concept of system thinking. Which is the fastest car right now? Let's say we have a Ferrari and it's fast, which is one of the most luxurious car right now. Let's say we have a Rolls Royce Spectra or Phantom or whatever, very luxurious. Let's say which car has the best suspension. You pick another car brand. Let's just pick Mercedes. Say okay. Now, if you carry the engine of the fastest car, which is Ferrari, for example, and bring it, and you bring out the luxurious design and interior of a Rolls Royce, you bring it together, add it with the engine of the Ferrari, and bring maybe the suspension, the steering, whatever, of a Mercedes, and you bring all of this together, you may think that will give you the best car in the world. But once you bring this part together, you realize that you don't even have a car. And the reason why, even though these things are good on their own, but the reason why is because they are not fitting properly together, because the engine of the Ferrari is designed for a Ferrari to not fit into that of Rolls Royce. The same with the suspension system of the Mercedes will not fit into. So they will not. There is no fitting. So the concept of system thinking is that emphasis is not on how good the individual components are, but how good their interdependency and intradependency is. So how good is the team, not how good is the individual player. Sometimes the good individual players not necessarily translates to good team. So alpha male, alpha female, good individuals. An alpha male is someone who is a full-blown male, masculine in every way, has the ability to protect, generate his income, does everything he needs for himself, look like a self-sustaining and independent person. An alpha female is someone who you want to describe in a similar light, a woman that doesn't need anything from anyone, have everything going in their way, and and these people are like the Rolls Royce and the Ferrari engine, whatever, and they want to come together. The first thing they want to consider is how are they going to be interdependent on each other. And this should be paramount. Marriage is impossible without interdependency. Marriage is impossible without intradependency, meaning that I'm depending on you for something internally, and I'm also depending on you for something externally. That is something we come together to work on. I need you to help me in this area. You need me to help you in that area, and that will make sure that our output come out in this other area and other area. So the way that you guys work together really matters. Okay, these are theoretical background. So let's go to practical terms. Now that we have an idea of what a system thinking is, and we can now apply it in real life situation summation. You should know that a man loves his wife by every act of service he does towards his wife. He's telling his wife, I love you. Every gift he gives his wife is telling her, I love you. Every defend, affirmation, protection he does for his wife is telling the wife, I love you. Most women do not say it that way, because especially the alpha females who already have all those things and provide all those things for themselves. But truly, that's the way a man say, I love you. Alpha female want to see flowers and all the other romantic gesture. But romance is relative, very, very relative. What is romantic for A is not romantic for B. Forget it. Not everybody are impressed by flowers. That's what the movies made you think. So don't think someone who lights candles and bring flower is the romantic one. Sometimes the person who listens to you, carry you and help address your issue. It could be your tire flat and the person can fix it. It could be the washing machine not running and the person was able to do it. It could be just the simple things. But those are love. Many ways of saying I love you to a woman. But men are pretty straightforward when it comes to the issue of love. It doesn't matter alpha man or omega man. There's such a thing like that. It doesn't matter the race, the color, whatever. There's one common thing about men all over the world. A man interprets love as respect and submission. And so respect is a man's love language. Every time you respect him, he feels love. And respect is very hard for women, because sometimes most of them don't even know what that is, especially when they grew up without a male figure. Because what respect is for a woman is different from what it is for man. Most women who interact with women and their girls, you see girls together, they respect each other by valuing each other's opinion, validating themselves. Oh, your hair is beautiful, I like your curve. Even when your girlfriend want to do something and all of you know that that's not a good thing to do, because you respect, you want her to go ahead and do it, or whatever is it, that's respect for you guys. But that's not respect for men. Respect for men is, first of all, it comes with the best way to do it, describe it using alphabetical terms, acceptance. So a man wants to be accepted the way he is, and not yes, he may make some adjustment for you, but you have to accept him the way he is first. And once you accept him the way he is, then over time you begin to communicate what you would prefer. And you have to be okay if he doesn't change. Once he notices that you're okay if he doesn't change, out of love for you, he will make efforts to make those changes to make you more comfortable, because he really loves you. And that's, a man shows love by really protecting you. If there's something about him that is making you uncomfortable or unprotected, he will generally adjust to accommodate that. He will adjust as a need to protecting you or making you more secure than he will adjust because you want him to change. So those are the things that you have to consider accept. And why don't you take it to another level? Don't consider respecting, because respect is something every man needs, and even your boss in the office, every man you meet. If you have a son, the moment he turns to a teenager, he starts demanding his respect. You have to give it to him. So it's a natural thing for men. But what you should do to your husband is actually more than respect, because respect is the basic. It's like the kindergarten is the ABCD. You know, and if you're still struggling with that, trust me, you're not ready to get married. But for your husband, what you should be focusing on is honor. Is honor. So that is respect inside of honor. But most times there is no honor inside of respect. So they are two different things. Honor. A practical example that respect is, your husband said he wants to eat by 6 p.m. and he wants you to help him eat by 6 p.m. Respect is you doing everything within your possible best to make sure the food is available by 6 p.m. and you give it to him. That's respect. You respected that man. But honor, on the other hand, he said he want to eat by 6 p.m. And you take it to another level. The food you prepare by 6 p.m., the food you're serving by 6 p.m., how you serve the food, how you present the food. You ladies understand this very aspect very well. That's why I'm using it. Like going to a fast food joint and going to a 5-star restaurant. The presentation is not the same. The packaging is not the same. The arrangement is not the same. What is the difference? It's honor. There is honor. Once you do it like a 5-star restaurant kind of thing, I'm not saying you should do that every day, but that should give you an idea what honor is. Honor is going the extra mile, doing it in reference and adoration to the other person. And ladies are very capable of honor, because most ladies that are religious, you see them do it to their pastors and their imam and the priest. They honor them well. Ladies that are cultural, you see them do it to maybe their father, if they have one that's actively good in their life, or a kind of kingsman or something. You see them do it. Ladies that are more career driven, you see them honor their boss, and they are whatever they call mentor. So they are capable of it. But honor is actually what you should do to your husband. Sarah in the Bible honors her husband so much that she called him Lord. Honor does not make you a slave. Otherwise, you would have been considered a slave to your boss. But are you a slave to your boss? The answer is no, but you honor your boss because he writes your check. So at the barest minimum, you should consider, if this is the person writing my check, paying everything I want, how am I going to speak to this person? How am I going to treat this person? How am I going to deal with this person? Having that thinking at the back of your mind will help you to your husband, because that's the same way you should treat him. And alpha female, after male, let me say this clearly for the female. To be successful in your life as a woman, it is dependent strictly on how successful you are with your husband. Because if you're successful with your husband and genuinely love you, in most cases, obviously, if you guys check this before you get married, you're going to go far. See it like your relationship and your honor to your husband are the roots in your tree, and your alpha female, your career, your goal, and everything that gives you money are the branches that sprout outside of the ground. The deeper the roots, the higher the tree can go. So Um, Science has proven that the fastest plant is the bamboo stick. But the first couple of years when it is planted, it doesn't grow out. And if you're not patient, you will not know that, it's still alive.
Mm.
The first couple of years, it spent its time developing abilities to go down, not even go up. Because the bamboo will first of all grow a significant amount of depth in the ground before it starts growing up. So this is the same with most alpha male or whatever, or the same with relationship and anything that's going to last. It takes time to grow the roots. Then when the root is firm, then you can now grow up. So the point I'm making here is honor requires consistency, and you're not doing it because he deserves it. You're doing it because that is what you should do, because you deserve it. And you're happiest the most when you honor people and take care of people. You just don't know it. Otherwise, there will be no need for us throwing parties. Why do we throw parties? Especially people from Nigeria. You throw parties, you invite people, you come and see them have fun, eat and drink at your own expense, because you're the custodian of the party. Wasting your money to do all of these things. And somehow that gives you joy and fulfillment, seeing them dancing, having fun, eating your food and your drinks, and making merry at your own expense. But it gives you some level of, because that's what it is. When you honor someone, you have fulfillment. So it's the same for your spouse. So you should be able to do that. And most people never really know what it is to honor their spouse, especially people from who are totally dependent on their spouse for money to eat, money to make their hair, something as basic as getting a tampon. They depend on their husband. And so it is a problem in the sense that when they want something, they know that they have to get it from their husband. And so because they want to be sure they can always get it from their husband, so they respect him, so that he doesn't say no to any of their requests.
Quid pro quo.
Yeah, that is not honor. That is not respect. That is just maybe fear. And fear, most of our parents stay in the relationship out of fear, because the women are economically disadvantaged and the men exert their control over the women by making sure they stay that way. And anything they do not want the woman to do, they just ensure it's not funded. So once it's not funded, it should not be done. So that itself, that is not submission. Submission is when I have the means, I am willing and I am able to do this thing, but I choose not to because I have not gotten the consent of my husband to do it. That's submission. I am willing to do it, but I'm not able to do it. I need my husband to provide the money that will make me do it. So that's why I'm telling him that is not submission. I'm willing to do it. I'm able to do it, but I still need my husband's consent to do it. That's submission. And that's actually how Jesus wants us to be. God wants us to be dependent on him. God wants us to inquire of him. This famous story comes to mind, the story of David. He just came from a war. He conquered, and he was a winner. And by the time he got home, he realized that a different set of enemy has invaded their camp, raided the camp, and took away his wives, the wife of his men, all their properties and everything. And David just came from war. He still has his horses and his weapon and everything. Everything in his hands. He could as well just go and gather all those people and chase after them and do, take matters into his hands. But out of submission to the will of God, David never engaged in any battle without consulting God. And so he knelt and consulted God and asked God, this is what has happened. Should I pursue? Should I overtake? He consulted, and God gave him the permission to do it, and he went, and he was successful. So David in the Bible fought several wars and lost none, because all of those battles, he always consulted God before fighting them. He never said, look, I have been doing this for so many years. I have experience in fighting. I have all this weapon. I have all those things. I can do it. No, he always consults. That is what submission looks like for a woman. You have many years of experience doing this. You have many years you have the skills, you have the weapon, you have everything. But you still have to consult and get the nudge to go ahead before you go ahead. So that is what submission is. So while you're dating and considering marrying this person, you have to ask this question: will I be able to submit in the real sense of the word? And if your answer is yes, then you know that you can do it. And another character in the Bible where most people have issues with is Sarah calling Abraham Lord out of submission. People would think that because Sarah called Abraham Lord, Abraham is the God of the house and Sarah is the servant. But if you really investigate their relationship, you will see that it is not so. Actually, Sarah wielded a lot of influence in the house. And when Abraham and Sarah didn't have a child, it was Sarah's idea that they pick someone else. And who did they pick? The mother of Ishmael was Sarah's servant. Sarah brought the lady to Abraham, choose everything, and make it happen. So Sarah is actually way more in control, even though she's calling Abraham Lord, whatever. So what I'm saying here is that the fact that you honor and respect your husband and call him Lord or whatever doesn't make you not in control. In fact, women control more when they're in their feminine energy than when they're trying to mimic the man and come up to a man with a masculine energy. You just sabotage yourself. So stay in your feminine energy. Call him Lord if you need to. If you don't need to, because nowadays if you call the man Lord, it makes no sense to him. But call him whatever makes sense to him. Do whatever. Make sure he feels honored. And once you do that, you will see how much of control you have. You will see really how much of control you have. Just as Christians, God gave Christians dominion over the earth and everything. It's because God gave you control. So control that is so strong that in James chapter 4 verse 7, it says, submit yourself to God. Then you resist the devil and he will flee from you. It is in your submission that you will get the power to resist the devil. That's the relationship between God and us, his children. And it's the same relationship that God wants us to have between husband and wife. Say, husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church. So it's the same kind of relationship. So when you submit to God, you will derive the power to resist the devil and he will flee. It's the same thing. When you submit to your husband as a wife, you will derive the power to resist anything and control anything that happens. So your power of control and influence comes from submission. And I think if you consider all of this, you will find ways to be more submissive to your husbands. Yeah. You're not submissive to all the men in the world. You're submissive to your husband. But every other man you can respect. But submission is, yeah. And it comes naturally to men. Once a woman submits to a man's natural response is to submit to the woman. In case you haven't noticed, just try. Once a woman submits to a man's natural response is to submit back to the woman. Do you know that submission is not a problem for men?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, intuitively men do submit. Men have no problem submitting to their fellow man or to woman. Submission is never a problem for a man. But you see, love is a problem, and that's why Jesus said, told husbands, love your wife, because that is what they find challenging to do. And yeah, and love is not a problem for a woman. Love comes easy to a woman. So that's why the Bible told women submit, because that's where they need work. So I believe as we pay attention to these areas, we'll do well. Yeah.